Happened so fast, they didn't register when it happened.
A mother in disbelief after a car nearly hits her child. How the baby's grandfather risked his own life to save hers. Coming up.
And a suspected thief caught red-handed. How his would-be victim reacted when he found him sneaking around in the middle of the night.
And primetime appearance, Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson answers voters' questions on live TV. The message he's sending coming up. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday, August 4th. We'll get to those stories in just a bit, but first we are checking on the weather.
Another day, more rain. Kristen Curry's tracking what we need to know for the day. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, more rain, cooler temperatures really compared to what we started July with. And as far as the outlook goes, things are about to change here. That soggy pattern that we're in now could be looking at some changes in that as well as the numbers. So let's break this down because the Doppler radar is still showing a few pockets of light rain out of our south central areas. A little bit of cloud cover over the western half of the state as well, but nothing falling from the sky here in Albuquerque, just some clouds and a gorgeous sunrise. But our temperatures 50s, 60s and 70s to start our Thursday. Pretty comfortable. I think most are okay without the jacket, but this afternoon we'll get back to the upper 80s, near average temps across the state. More widespread rain to track, as well as that flooding risk that continues today and even into tomorrow. I'll break down what we know as well as a peek at that weekend forecast that's coming up here in just about 15 minutes.
There's a lot of buzz this morning over last night's Libertarian town hall. Presidential hopeful Gary Johnson and his running mate Bill Weld took questions on a variety of topics, hoping to make their case to the audience and the American people. News 13's Catherine Nazone is here with the details. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Johnson says if either Trump or Clinton is elected, it will only further divide Democrats and Republicans.
Neither side is going to get along with the other. And what if you elect a couple of former Republican governors, two-term, re-elected, running as libertarians? What if you elect them as president, vice president, calling out both sides?
Gary Johnson is, of course, former governor of New Mexico. Bill Weld was governor of Massachusetts. The two answered questions on everything from racism to guns. Johnson told attendees he didn't want to change current laws on semi-automatic weapons. And when it comes to marijuana, an issue Johnson's known for, he says he doesn't believe it should be listed as a Class 1 narcotic. Johnson and Weld told Americans their ticket was for those who didn't want to see Clinton or Trump as president. A big question for voters, though, why waste a ballot for the Libertarian ticket against two big party opponents?
Well, a wasted vote is voting for somebody that you don't believe in. And if we're going to continue to vote for the lesser of two evils, that's still evil.
Johnson wants a chance to prove himself in the presidential debates, but he's still about 6 points shy, according to the latest CNN poll. He has to reach 15%. Back to you.
All right, Catherine, thanks for that information. The next stop on Johnson's campaign, Reno, Nevada. That's tomorrow.
Also on the campaign trail this morning, Donald Trump's top advisors are moving quickly to push back on talk that has dominated GOP circles this week, that their campaign is in turmoil. Sources close to the campaign say top Republicans have been calling for a sit-down meeting to get Trump back on track. The Trump campaign chairman is shooting down that idea. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is campaigning hard to win over Republicans who are tired of Trump. Her biggest catch so far, Meg Whitman, a top GOP fundraiser and Hewlett-Packard executive. Whitman is also urging other Republicans to reject Trump. Stay up to date on all the latest campaign news on our website, KRQE.com, or download our free KRQE News app.
On to other news happening today. Business owners will have a chance to learn how to protect themselves and others from active shooters. The New Mexico Restaurant Association and Kitchen Cabinet will be teaming up with APD for active shooter training. It kicks off at 2 this afternoon at the NMRA offices. That's on Montgomery and Northeast Albuquerque. The idea is to learn how to safeguard customers and employees in the event of a shooting.
6:04 noon this morning, the FBI says a woman with connections to a notorious prison gang is expected to appear in court. 36-year-old Shana Charlene Gutierrez was caught yesterday near Los Lunas. Authorities say they've been looking for her since April over her alleged involvement with a prison gang. The feds began investigating the gang last year after finding out that they'd ordered hits on several prison officials. Members have also been accused of killings and drug trafficking. Gutierrez is charged with attempted murder, assault, and more charges.
There are new concerns this morning over a serious security flaw with the chip-based credit cards. Researchers say thieves can rewrite the card strips code to make it look like a chipless card. Now that allows the thieves to keep counterfeiting. Experts say the flaw will only bolster complaints by retailers who argue they were forced by banks to accept chip-based cards. Retailers allege a chip upgrade could cost them $25 billion.
Police have still not made any arrests after a homeowner turned the tables on a suspected truck thief. Home surveillance camera captured that whole scene on camera just after midnight Monday in northeast Albuquerque. A man walked up to a truck and tripped the alarm. The truck's owner walked out armed and ordered the suspect to the ground. The homeowner then called 911 and waited for police, but by that point, the suspect had started to walk away. Officers say they couldn't prove at the time that the man was trying to steal anything, so nobody was arrested.
A New Mexico teen accused of arson is also expected in court today. Police say the 16-year-old boy set toilet paper on fire in a trash can in an AutoZone restroom. That was in Artesia. They say the manager of the store watched the teen go into the bathroom, come out. He talked to him, then leave. That's when he noticed the fire. It was contained just to the trash can. The teen's name has not been released at this time.
6:06, and this morning, Bernalillo County's DA is still denying that she called Albuquerque's mayor a psychopath in a BuzzFeed article.
In the meantime, the reporter for the story continues to stand by his word. The 20-page article goes on to say DA Carrie Brandenburg and APD Chief Gordon Eden no longer speak. It says her relationship with APD crumbled after she decided to charge 2 of its officers in the James Boyd shooting and when APD accused her of meddling in her son's criminal case. Now, yesterday, Brandenburg responded denying that she made the comments about the mayor.
Happening now, UNM is hoping a new feature will help bump up attendance at the pit. State lawmakers just signed off on more than $500,000 to improve Wi-Fi at the arena. This after many fans have complained that they struggle to connect to mobile data and wireless internet, especially once the crowds start packing in.
I think what we've seen is, we have lack of coverage. I think it's difficult really because it's below ground. It's a concrete building.
The plan is to offer consistent service throughout the whole facility. UNM hopes the change could even lead to a bump in ticket sales after a recent dip.
On to news happening now. An Ohio grandfather being hailed a hero this morning after saving his granddaughter's life from what could have been a deadly crash. But they weren't in a car. The two were inside a store. This morning, the man's employees still in shock from it all.
It happened so fast that you didn't register when it happened.
Lawrence Perkins is the owner of an appliance store. He was holding his granddaughter Rose when he sat her on a washing machine just for a moment. Seconds later, a car came crashing through the wall. Police say the driver was trying to swerve to avoid another crash. Perkins grabbed Rose just in time, shielding her from the impact. The two ended up getting pinned between a washing machine and a soda machine, but they survived and they're okay today. The crash caused $1,000 in damages. No word on the condition of the driver, but look at that cutie right there.
This is adorable. Oh my goodness. That'd be terrifying for the grandfather, but there was a lot of damage too from that crash, so it's lucky.
Good thing he acted fast, though. Investigation underway. What new details show about a plane crash in the Middle East, plus what experts are crediting with saving everyone on board.
Also making progress, how far along the state says it is when it comes to the new driver's license law, and when you could start applying for your ID coming up.
And major backlog, major meeting. Who's expected to meet today to talk about problems plaguing the state's medical marijuana program? What cardholders are saying. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Crystal Gutierrez.
I'm Adam Atchison. Today, Thursday, August 4th, and as we approach the weekend, we're facing more rain.
Rain and more rain to come. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, guys. That's exactly right. We had a little bit of rain, especially across northern portions of the state yesterday, and I wanted to start there. Our rain totals from Wednesday, you can see Gallup, not too bad, came close to about 4/10 of an inch. Santa Fe, 1/1500ths, although I did see rain totals topping over an inch within Santa Fe County. Las Vegas, about ½ an inch, and just a trace amount down there across Alamogordo, and about close to 1/10 in Las Cruces. Still counts. Doppler radar shows we're still looking at some light rain out across Doña Ana County, so we'll see if we can add to that total there down towards the south. But as far as the rest of us go, it's just a little bit cloud cover to start the day and more widespread rain to look forward to this afternoon. Temperature's not going to do a whole lot. They'll stay near average for the next few days, but our rain chances will go up and down within the next 7 afternoons. So I'm going to break down who is favored for today's rain and who is underneath that flash flood watch. That's coming up here in about 15 minutes.
And we start with news happening today. A backlog in the state's medical cannabis program continues. Today, groups are looking for answers. News 13's Fernanda Lopez is here with the details. Good morning, Fernanda.
Good morning, Crystal. The backlog has left medical cannabis patients waiting 60 or more days to receive their cards. State statute says it should take 30 days. Advocacy groups say the problem has been ongoing for 7 months now. Today, the public is invited to a meeting at the state capitol in Santa Fe. State Auditor Tim Keller, as well as a representative with the Department of Health, will speak about the backlog. Last month, Keller called on the Department of Health to make changes, warning they could face a full audit. At last check, the Department of Health was still working on hiring more staff to review applications. They say within the last year, they've had nearly 10,000 people apply for the program. Groups are now asking for a contingency plan for patients waiting on new cards. The meeting gets underway at 3 this afternoon. The public will have a chance to voice their concerns from 4 to 5. Back to you, Crystal.
All right, thanks for that information, Fernanda. Now, the Department of Health says people whose cards are set to expire should start the renewal process 60 days early. They also ask applicants to make sure their forms are completely filled out so they don't cause further delays.
Also new this morning, preps are underway now to launch the state's two-tiered ID system later this year. Earlier in the year, a bill was passed that creates two types of licenses. One that's compliant with the Federal Real ID Act. That one requires proof of citizenship. It'll allow holders to board airplanes and get into government buildings after 2020. The second will not require proof and will be known as a driving authorization card. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican, the MVD says they'll start training employees on issuing the licenses this month. They're expected to be available by mid-November.
New at 6, the federal government says it will look into complaints about air quality in poor Albuquerque neighborhoods. According to the Albuquerque Journal, the Southwest Organizing Project and the New Mexico Environmental Law Center filed a complaint 2 years ago. The group say policies in Bernalillo County and Albuquerque allow buildup of harmful pollution, especially in the San Jose and Mountain View neighborhoods. The city maintains it has the highest designation of air quality granted by EPA. The EPA says offices of the civil rights will investigate.
Time now 6:33 and happening right now. City data shows the amount of people choosing to hop on board the city bus is dropping. The city says there's a good reason for that. Bus routes 766 and 66 run along the central corridor, just like the future Albuquerque Rapid Transit. Data shows since 2012, the routes have lost more than 300,000 riders. But even with ridership not really growing, the city says it's not concerned because they know exactly what's behind it.
Now that gasoline prices have been down below the $2.50 mark and close to $1.90, $1.80 for the past couple of years, we've seen our ridership go down slightly.
We did also ask the city if fewer people are riding now, how that will affect ART. They say they stand by the theory that the Albuquerque Rapid Transit Project will increase ridership by a lot. Also happening today, a man accused of attacking a police officer is expected in Albuquerque for a court appearance. The FBI says 36-year-old Larry Emerson assaulted a federal law enforcement officer last month on the Navajo reservation. He was arrested in Gallup yesterday. It's still unclear if he has a lawyer this morning, but he's expected in U.S. District Court later today.
On to some breaking overnight news. Authorities in London are now investigating what led up to a deadly stabbing spree. Just into our newsroom, the only person killed is an American woman. At least 6 people were hurt in the attack last night, including that American woman in her 60s who later died. Police say a 19-year-old man armed with a knife attacked people at Russell Square, that's near the British Museum. Authorities say the man may be mentally ill. He is in police custody at this time.
Happening right now, 2 massive wildfires in California still burning. You can see the flames here this morning. Fire crews, though, are making some progress on both. We checked this morning, and the Sobranas fire, near Big Sur, is now 27% contained. It's still at nearly 47,000 acres, with 57 homes and 11 structures destroyed. Authorities are also still looking for the person who's responsible for starting the blaze that's killed at least 1 person. Investigators say it was sparked by an illegal campfire. The cold fire in Yolo County remains at over 4,000 acres. It is only 10% contained today.
On to some breaking weather. A hurricane warning is in effect for Belize in South America this morning. This is video from the coast nearby Mexico, where a Category 1 Hurricane Earl hit overnight. Right now, the storm is packing winds of 80 miles an hour, knocking out power, bringing heavy rain. Authorities report there could be over a foot of rain in some places, as well as landslides in higher terrain.
This morning, a couple charged with animal abuse is free after a mistrial. Last year, Las Vegas police arrested Alex Alirez and Panchita Maez for allegedly having 5 neglected dogs in their home.
They were malnourished and they weren't being fed enough or taken care of properly. They were, I believe, on like a 3-foot chain.
A dog named Hubble was the worst off and died. The pair was on trial for animal cruelty. Yesterday, the judge declared a mistrial. The DA's office says police never handed over certain audio recordings and a police report to the prosecution nor the defense. Prosecutors say they do plan to retry the two. No word on when that will happen. Happening now in Dubai, airline officials are looking for the data and voice recorders after a fiery crash landing of an Emirates plane.
Yeah, new cell phone video from inside the crash yesterday shows organized chaos. Some alarmed passengers trying to take down their suitcases. Terrifying moments there. One passenger says only one exit was working at the time. One firefighter was killed, but all 300 passengers and crew members on board survived this. The airline says there's no evidence terrorism was involved. Extreme heat and wind shear may have instead been a factor. The FAA requires aircraft manufacturers to be able to evacuate the maximum number of passengers from their planes within 90 seconds. That rule is being credited with helping everyone escape from the wreckage in Dubai.
An Albuquerque teen finally has what he needs to help local chemotherapy patients. Chase Fox is putting together comfort bags for chemo patients in memory of his grandparents. It's for his Eagle Scout project, but delivery of the bags was delayed after Fox came up short. Now, since our story aired, Chase has enough bags to complete his project. One anonymous donor bought the last 35 totes that Fox needed at $35 each. Good for him.
I
And
love this story.
He's so forward thinking and wants to give back to people, and it's good that people sort of supported him in that project.
A little bit of comfort in a time of need.
Sure.